Hi everybody and welcome to episode 58 of the Talk is Cheap show. Happy 2021 to you. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all healthy, safe, well, COVID free. Got another great show lined up for you today. But before we go any further, it is my duty bound pleasure and honor to introduce, not that he needs any introduction, Mr. Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house. What are you saying, bro?
All good, bro. All good. Lockdown again, man. You know, they want to keep us locked up, but you know, we keep doing what we got to do, man. Hope you're well anyway. I hear you haven't been too well as well.
You know what? I did have, in the end, I mean, we spoke last week and I was going to get tested. I got confirmed that I did have the virus, but I'm pleased to say that I've been doing okay, man. Been making incremental improvements each day. And I'm pleased to report that I'm back on the mend, man. You know what I mean? My period of self-isolation ends in a few days' time. Looking forward to actually getting out and doing something, man, because I've been stuck inside and it's not been fun. But yeah, just watching events unfold around the world and just trying to keep myself healthy, drinking plenty of water, trying to exercise when I can. And I have to say I'm not too bad. But thanks for asking.
Yeah, no worries, man. Get well soon, man.
How's you? How was your 2021? So far?
Well, indoors, man, you know, trying to go for the odd walk and a little exercise, but just indoors, man. Not too much we can do, is there, right now?
Not really. No, not really, man. Just everybody just keep safe, keep following the rules, and hopefully things will improve as the year goes by. Yeah. What about the vaccine, boy? What are you saying about that?
Well, yeah, they're saying it's rolling out, so hopefully this will be the last.
Roll out and get one?
Well, I won't get it at the start anyway, will I? Because, you know, I think I won't be classed as a priority. I always said that I wouldn't want to take it straight away, just me personally, because, you know, these vaccines, sometimes, you know, you get complications and they have to change it a bit. But I'll be at the back of the queue anyway because of my age and stuff. So, but listen, let's just hope we can get back to normality soon.
Yeah, 100% endorsed, right? Okay, moving on then. So our news and notes section, which our regular viewers will know, is a section where we go through things that are happening that's taken place in the world since the last show. And I think it's fair to say that quite a bit's been going on, although not all of it is great news, to be honest. But what I've got to say straight away is that the revolution will be televised, it seems.
America.
Oh, man. I mean, I was watching the Carabao Cup semi-final between United and City, and I got a text from one of my brothers and he said, Laurie, put your channel on CNN now. And I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, just put your channel on CNN now. When I switched channels briefly and I saw what was going, I could not believe what was happening, man. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, basically, for those of you who don't know, I'm sure you all do by now, but the Capitol building in Washington, in America, stormed, it would appear, by pro-Trump supporters who are not very happy with the election results. Look like they're seeking to have it overturned. And some of the stuff I saw, what was going on, man, I just could not believe it. Curtis, you would have seen it, my man, at some point. What's your thoughts, bro? We don't want to get political on the show now. But I
don't want to get... Listen, in the words of Jose Mourinho, if I speak, I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble, you know. I'm not surprised, man. I don't think anyone's surprised. You know, America it's crazy, isn't it? Some of the stuff what goes off there. And all I can say is the events may have been a little bit different if different people were doing what was being done. That's all I'll say on the map. You know, I don't want to say,
listen, man. I mean, I don't think it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out what you're referring to there. And listen, man, I don't think anybody can dispute that at all. That was one of the things that was so amazing to behold. Like you said, we ain't going to talk too much on that. We've raised it. It was worth raising, but we won't go deep into that. And of course, the other thing that's wreaking havoc in the world at the moment is the continued situation with the coronavirus. The government have announced yet another lockdown. This one seems pretty stringent. And it looks like it's going to be with us till what, at least March, isn't it?
I think the only positive thing is that we've got football this time. You know, that first lockdown, having no football to watch as well, that was That was harsh, man. At least we can watch football. That's the only thing right now that can help us, I think. So,
yeah, well, as I said once ago on this show, the sport has once been described as the opium of the masses, and it looks like what football is at the moment, isn't it? I mean, elite sport has been allowed to continue, and you kind of get the impression that the only reason why it is to kind of satiate the masses, you know. But yeah, man, I mean, listen, it's still a very serious situation, unfortunately. The amount of infections are going up, deaths are going up, and the situation is quite bleak. There's a lot of pressure on the NHS, obviously. Like I said, it looks like these lockdown rules are going to remain in place for a good while.
Yeah.
And we just hope that we can collectively come through this, you know. There has been 1 or 2 games being cancelled and called off.
Yeah.
In the Football League and in the Premier League, I know that there's been a lot of teams that's been affected. But let's just hope we can get through this period, man. As I said before, more and more clubs, aren't there, are reporting infections at their respective clubs, and the situation is not improving anytime soon. It's a worry.
It is.
So let's just hope we can come through this together, man. Right, okay, so what else is there to report on news and notes? Well, we're into the transfer window, and there's been a bit of activity at Arsenal. William Saliba, he's now gone on loan to Nice, it would appear.
Yeah.
From that, Curtis?
Do you know what was interesting? I actually watched a little bit of the game last night. I only saw a little bit and then caught up with the highlights after. And, you know, having looked at that Nice team that he's in, he's going to have a lot of work to do, man, because they do not look very good. They lost 2-0. Saliba got booked, but he did actually get the highest rating out of their defence. And the manager was complimentary of him, saying that he showed a lot of maturity for such a young age. So, look, I think this decision should have been made in the summer. They've wasted half a season effectively, but we are where we are. I think if they weren't going to involve him, get him out, give him experience. Mikel Arteta confirmed today that he will be back at the club at the end of the loan, because there was rumours that Nice may have been able to keep him for another year. So let's just hope he can get, 20 odd games, improve and come back, because I still think there's a big future for him at Arsenal. Yeah,
I do. But the trouble is, none of us have really seen him play in an Arsenal shirt.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I just want to ask you briefly, we don't really know too much, but what do you think was behind this sort of mysterious stuff that's been going on? Have you got any clues? Can you offer the viewers any inclinations as to what's happened with Saliba, why he hasn't made a first-team appearance or even come close to it? What's going on, man?
I mean, I find it difficult to understand it. I mean, they're saying he's a little bit raw and a little bit rash, but surely if you're this top-level coach, what you're being, lauded as, can you not improve him on the training ground? He should have played Europa League. We had a very, very easy Europa League group. That would have been a good chance for him to get experience in an Arsenal shirt. So I think we've wasted an opportunity in this half of the season to help him integrate. Training every day and playing under 23s is not the level that he needed to be playing at. So, I mean, somebody was saying, does Arteta have a problem with these younger players who've maybe got a little bit of an attitude and a swagger and arrogance? You look at Guendouzi, Maitland-Niles, Saliba, maybe even Pepe a little bit. It's only a little theory, there's no evidence to support that. But, does he like them players who is it get down or lay down? You get down with what I'm about or you're out the door kind of thing. I don't know, but.
Is there a suggestion that there may be a discipline problem? I mean, I don't know, because we were told that there might be an element of some kind of personal problem there. So, for example, we heard that he had a family bereavement, and obviously he would have taken it badly, as most young guys would have done, anyone would have done. I mean, I've had family bereavement last year, and I know how hard that hits. But then there seemed to be a suggestion that he was having trouble mentally adjusting. Are you able to offer any insights as to what the problems might have been? Because I just don't get it. Because it should be ability, does it?
Yeah, I mean, he's 19. He's moved to a different country. He's lost one of his parents, I believe. And, you know, he's not playing football. Of course, he's going to have a difficult time. Like, you're learning the language, you're trying to integrate into the squad, into the team. Ultimately, I think the easiest way to settle in somewhere is by doing the job that you're good at, i.e. playing football. I think if he was playing in them Europa League games, very little pressure because they're teams that we beat. I think we won every game in the group. I think that was the perfect opportunity to help him settle into the club. Now he's going to go to France. He's in a team that is not great. He's going to be under the spotlight every week. Oh, Saliba's team lost. He got booked. He didn't play well. Then he's going to come back to Arsenal, and he's kind of in a similar situation to what he was this summer. He's never played. He doesn't know the Premier League. He hasn't had that feeling of an Arsenal shirt in a competitive game. So, you know, I think they should have made the decision sooner. You know, we could have been talking about Saliba coming back to Arsenal in January if he'd had a good 20 games already in France. Instead, we're only just sending him out. So, typical Arsenal, you know, they seem to be slow in making decisions. But I still think there's a big future for him. He's a talent.
I do too. And I have to say that I'm particularly gobsmacked by this because at a time when we struggled defensively,
yeah,
a player like this amongst our ranks, and he couldn't even break into any of the squads. And nobody seemed to be questioning his talent.
yeah.
And then at the same time, when you're trying to, as I was and you was and several other people were trying to search for reasons as to why
he's not involved, yeah,
you just couldn't come up with anything tangible.
Yeah,
and it was so frustrating. But you know what? Now he's got an outlet to express himself on a football pitch.
Yeah,
he does his best, and let's hope that by the time he comes back to Arsenal, situation has changed somewhat, and can show us what he's capable of doing. Because I'm pretty sure he's a very capable player. Everything I've suggests that he is. So yeah, man, I wish him all the best. Talking about goings, it would appear that the long-running saga with a certain Mesut Ozil, that's it, the O word's back, coming to some kind of conclusion. It's not a done deal yet, but it looks ever more increasingly likely that Ozil is going to leave during this transfer window, with Fenerbahce being the favourites to land that very coveted signature, it would appear. Curtis, what's your thoughts on that, man? Is it gonna really happen this time or not? What do you think?
I mean, what's interesting about it, Ozil's agent did an interview with ESPN, and he seemed to be indicating that, look, you know, Mesut might leave in the summer. There's no rush. He might look at it and think, you know what? He hasn't played a game the whole season. He hasn't even played under 23, so he's not match fit. We're in the middle of a pandemic. He's got a newborn child, his wife. He might look here and just think, do you know what? I'm going to chill here till the end of the season. I'll move in the summer. The pandemic might be finished. My contract's paid up. My child's a little bit older. It's probably an easier set of circumstances to move. So I'm not sure the Mesut Ozil story is over. Maybe he's negotiating the deal now, but I'm still not convinced he will leave in January. I think it is time for him to leave. I think he's been at the club a long time. For the last couple of years, you know, people have been fighting his cause, and Emery and, you know, Ljungberg, all these managers have slowly seemed to be trying to pushing him out the door. I think he's done now at Arsenal. Could he have had something to offer this season? Possibly. You know, until Smith Rowe came in the team, we was crying out for a creative player. Maybe Ozil would have been all right with Thomas Partey behind him, but I just think it's done now. It needs to end. If I was Mikel Arteta, I'd be sick of answering questions on it. You know, you've got enough things to deal with. You don't want to be talking about a player that's not even involved. So I think it would be best for everyone if Ozil left the club, probably in this window, to be honest. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And I would also agree with you that whilst there's a lot of talk about him leaving, I wouldn't be surprised if he's still there at the end of this transfer window and doesn't go until the summer. Because let's be honest, man, if you're Mesut Ozil, why would you uproot now when it would suit you probably to do so at a later date, when the COVID thing might be less of a threat, when the weather's changed, when the situation, you know what I mean, you might have more options. as well.
Yeah.
So why would you just jump to that first move straight away? So I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him stay. And this saga go on. And but yeah, man. Okay, we'll wait and see what happens there. But hey, I get the impression that it's not a done deal yet. Okay, moving on again then to another one of our regular features, which is to review Arsenal's last game since our last show. And that last game came away against West Brom. Very snowy. This mantra that we always hear about a cold Wednesday night wherever and Arsenal don't turn up. That certainly wasn't the case this time. We went up to West Brom. We slapped them up 4-0. 3 wins in 3 in the league. And for me, this was by far our most impressive of those 3 previous victories, because I thought that from minute 1, we totally controlled the game and we outclassed West Brom, who, let's face it, a pretty ordinary, even poor opponent. And we put them to the sword, and it was good to see. 4-0, in fact, to me, it could have been more. What's your thoughts on that, bro?
Listen, I always say in football, you can only beat what's in front of you. People will point at how poor West Brom are, and I said before, I think Big Sam's bitten off more than he can chew. I think he'll probably get relegated with West Brom. I'm not even sure they should have got rid of Bilic, to be honest. But that's for them to worry about. But I thought it was a brilliant performance. I thought it was our best performance of the season. We dominated the ball. We were so quick in transition, which is what we've been crying out for. You know, when we win the ball back, we've been so slow going through the attack, and it's been so boring to watch at times. But with these youngsters, you know, Smith Rowe and Saka and Martinelli, they've added that spark and that dimension to us. And every time we went forward, we looked like we were going to score. And, you know, I think Lee Judges summed it up perfectly in his fan cam. He said, I was more scared of the snow than I was West Brom. And I think that's spot on, because I'm sitting there at half time thinking, yo, imagine this game gets snowed off and cooled off, you know. But no, I thought it was a great performance. Kieran Tierney was immense. For Lacazette was fantastic again. He looks rejuvenated with the younger players. I think the 2 negatives for me of the game, if I'm going to be really picky, I really wanted Aubameyang to score, because I think he just needs that confidence back. He needs that smile on his face. The other one for me was that when Saka came off, that he brought Willian on and not Pepe. I'm not a fan of that. I know I actually previously, you know, spoke quite positively about Willian when we signed him, but not for 1 minute did I want Willian to be ahead of Pepe in the pecking order, a 32-year-old who is on the decline than a £72 million player. You know, Pepe hasn't even come off the bench the last 2 games, so they're the only 2 little downers. But no, it was a fantastic win.
Yeah, great win. And like you said, the youngsters spearheading our revival at the moment. Tierney as well, he's been outstanding. Saka, another match performance. Yeah, man, lots of good things, and it's good to see. And like I said, I thought that we totally outclassed West Brom, and it was probably our best performance of the winning run that we've been on. But okay, so that's good. And now we're moving on again, because as we always say with football, the games come thick and fast. Yeah. To 2021, and the new year always brings around with it the start of the FA Cup. So this weekend is the 3rd round of the FA Cup. Arsenal got a home draw against Newcastle. Now, the FA Cup has always been a very welcome competition for Arsenal. We're the record winners of the tournament. And we won it last year, that great win against Chelsea back in the summer when, you know, the whole of North London was going crazy. Yeah. And what do you think of this game coming up this week then against Newcastle?
I mean, first of all, Newcastle are not in great form. Steve Bruce doesn't usually he doesn't seem to go for the FA Cup too much. I think he probably looks at it as a bit of a distraction. He doesn't want Newcastle getting drawn into that relegation battle. They don't have the best of squads. So I don't think Newcastle will be at full strength, if I'm honest. It'll be interesting how Mikel Arteta approaches it. I mean, he did say in his press conference with the holders, and, you know, we're going to go for it and put a strong team out. I think he'll make a few changes. Again, I would like to see Pepe play. You know, to just abandon him, I think, is the wrong thing to do. We still have to try and get something out of him as a player. I do not, and I repeat this, by the way, I do not want to see Runarsson in goal. I do not want to see him in goal, right? Keep Leno in goal, go and get another backup goalkeeper, but I don't want to see Runarsson in goal, you know. I don't like to write players off quickly, you know, because of one mistake. But every time I've watched him in goal, I feel uncomfortable, you know. He doesn't seem to save shots that he should save. I don't think he's anywhere near Arsenal standard. In fact, I would argue, is he even Premier League standard?
Oh, wow.
So Leno's got to be in goal for me. And listen, I want us to win this. You know, as we said before, we had a terrible season last year. But the FA Cup, you know, saved or salvaged the season, if you like, got us back into Europe, won us some silverware. I think it helped convince Aubameyang to stay as well. So I think we've got to go for it. With the holders, we got, you know, we should put up a fight and try and win this competition.
No, I agree. I mean, listen, as I stated earlier, we're the record winners of this competition. I think we won it 14 times.
14, yeah.
More than anybody else. So, and we won it last year. And we saw the feel-good factor that came back to the club when we had that run, especially the semi-final against City and then winning against Chelsea. You can't forget those moments. And it was the first trophy for the manager. And that winning that trophy, a lot of people would argue, was what helped kept him in a job before the Christmas period when it was looking really dire for him, you know. So yeah, I'm sure he'll be looking to take that competition seriously. Now, to have a look at the team thing, the team selection, it's interesting because what the normal procedure would be in FA Cup games is that you would have your senior players who would be playing in the league matches, right?
Yeah.
And then come the FA Cup, we'd be saying, oh, it's time to remove some of the senior players and bring in the youngsters. Yeah. But with this FA Cup fixture and the way things have been going at Arsenal recently, the reverse is almost true, isn't it? So it's some of the youngsters like Saka and Tierney and Martinelli and people like that who might be rested, and some of the more experienced guys, notably your Willian, you mentioned, people like that. And Pepe, who's not old, obviously, but he would have been considered more of an experienced first-team player.
Yeah.
And listen, I would like to see Pepe get a chance. I think the manager will seek to include Willian because we know that the manager seems to like Willian for whatever reason. Yeah. Willian hasn't really demonstrated that yet. But, you know, I mean, listen, I think all those people who have been on the periphery, I think they should get an opportunity in the FA Cup. Although, having said that, like you said, we're the holders. The FA Cup offers us some salvation and some redemption. I think we should play a strong side and seek to win it. But yeah, we do want to see some of the other players who haven't been given a chance get their chance now, surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think Aubameyang could do with a goal. Maybe it'd be good to play him. Obviously, Thomas Partey and Gabriel. Partey, I believe, is available now. He's been in full training all week, so I think he will play. Gabriel, I think they're saying should be back as well. They're just waiting on test results. So, you know, we'll look a much stronger team. That's what's giving me a little bit of hope. You know, the performances have improved. You've still got Gabriel and Partey to come in. I think you may see like David Luiz, maybe Ainsley or Cedric at right back. So, yeah, I mean, we can make a few changes there. I suppose we haven't got loads of players we can bring in, but I want to see a strong team. I think, you know, we need to win this game, keep that winning form going. And we've got, you know, two very important games coming up in the league after. One of them is Newcastle as well. So just to get that psychological advantage of beating them and then playing them in another 2 weeks. So I think Arteta should take the game seriously, you know, pick a strong team.
Yeah, Aubameyang point you mentioned is interesting because on the show last week we had a detailed discussion about Aubameyang, should play or not. And you were saying that, you know, it might be time to look at some other options in there and give him a little rest and see if his form will start to return. In the end, he did play. He didn't have a great game, it has to be said. Although he was in there and thereabouts. He didn't get a goal. But I would argue that maybe it's a good opportunity again this week for him to try and get on the score sheet. So maybe he should at least start, or if not start, he's got a feature at some point. What would you say there?
No, I would start him this week. I would start him. Yeah, in the FA Cup, I would start him. I think, you know, put him in, try and get him that goal. I want Mikel Arteta to have what I call a good problem in football, where we're approaching a game and we're going, well, Lacazette's on form, Aubameyang scored, you know, Martinelli's playing well. They're the problems that I want Arteta to have, not where it's clear cut every week. You've got to play him, you know, and I think that's what you have at big clubs. So, you know, Lacazette's been great in the last few games. The one thing I will say with Lacazette, he hasn't performed at this level consistently enough since he's been at Arsenal. So you always have that thing in your back of your mind, well, how long is Lacazette going to keep playing like that? Where Aubameyang has done it over long periods of time. So, you know, there's still question marks over Lacazette despite the great form. So, yeah, Aubameyang for me would definitely start this week. I think great opportunity to get him scoring, smiling, and then we can go back into the league games, you know, with all our attack kind of firing. So, yeah, Aubameyang. I would like to see Balogun involved as well. You know, I think, you know, Arteta's saying in the press conference he wants to keep him, but you're not even putting him on the bench. You know, actions are louder than words. You know, you can tell him you want him all you want, but if he's not even on the bench, he's probably thinking, well, I'm not even involved. So Balogun for me should at least be on the bench. You know, I wouldn't even be against him starting, but definitely on the bench.
I know you haven't mentioned Eddie then.
What do you want me to say? Eddie will be in the squad, won't he? You know, he'll be there somewhere.
He seems to have been a bit of a forgotten man over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I
mean, look, you've got Aubameyang there, who's top boy. Lacazette's in form. You've got Balogun waiting in the wings. I think Eddie is where he is at the moment. I think there's 2 or 3 better options than Eddie. I think Eddie needs to look. He's a young player finding his way. I'm not fully convinced he's Arsenal level at the moment. That's not to say that he can't become Arsenal level. I just think that Eddie needs a loan. I'll be honest, without being disrespectful. I think a lot of these young players, they're stars in the under-23s playing against their own age group. But sometimes it's difficult to come in the first team, you know, and bridge that gap between the two. You know, even under 21s, he bangs goals in for fun. I think Eddie could do with a loan spell, man. You know, like Saliba, go and get some experience somewhere else and maybe come back in the summer a better player. Okay.
Interesting point. What would you like to see happen with the midfield then? Because Emil Smith-Rowe's come in, and he's been a revelation, to be fair.
Yeah.
Come in. And again, I mentioned it earlier, you got the spectre of the younger players having to be rested so some of the older, more experienced players can get a go.
Yeah.
So what do you think he'll do? Do you think he will start this weekend, or because he's had a lot of games in quick succession, like young lads have? Do you think he'll continue with him, or do you think he'll revert to a more how can I put it?
See Smith-Rowe playing. I think Saka's probably the one that he will take out, because Saka's played a heck of a lot of football. Even when he went to play for England, I think he played all 3 games. Obviously, he came off with that kick as well against West Brom. And obviously, we've got 2 right wingers in Willian and Pepe who need a game. So I think Saka possibly will get rested. I think Smith-Rowe might play, just because we haven't got too many players who can go in that 10 role. I think Thomas Partey will play as well. And then, you know, who does he play next to him? Maybe Ceballos. I thought Ceballos played really well against West Brom, by the way. He had a very good game. But again, not consistent enough. He needs to perform at that level more often. So, yeah, it'll be interesting with the midfield. But I think Smith-Rowe will play.
You think he will play? Okay. I think he might give him a rest, actually.
You think so?
I think he might do, yeah. You got El Messi.
He's reverted back to normal.
He keeps reverting, doesn't he? From El to El Messi, formerly known as El Nene, now he's back to El Messi again. So,
man.
But I mean, listen, I could see him playing this weekend. What about defensively? How do you think he'll line up there? Because Maori's come in and he's performed decently. In there, you know, I see that all play out.
I mean, the interesting thing now with Kolasinac going, we only effectively have one natural left back. So, you know, Kieran Tierney maybe could do with a rest, but who would we actually play at left back unless you play like Ainsley or Cedric there, which, you know, they're not natural left backs. I think maybe David Luiz will play. You know, he probably could do with a game. Gabriel, if he's all right, maybe he will play.
Here I say Mustafi's lurking around. He'll
probably don't bring him in, please. Leave him out, man. Do you know, I actually forgot he even plays for us. You know? I don't want him nowhere near the team, man. Maybe Cedric or...
It's fair to say that you're not a big fan of...
Mustafi? Oh, no. He's in that same bracket for me with certain other players, man. Them guys, the sooner they leave, the better, man. Mustafi, nah. I don't want to.
Is there an argument for putting effectively some of those guys in the shop window? Because let's face it, you know, I'm sure that the manager's been told that he's got to offload some of these players as best as he can. And as you said yourself, you'd forgotten that Mustafi actually holds an Arsenal registration as a player. So maybe it could be an idea to give him some minutes. Although I don't want to disrespect Newcastle, to be honest, because I think they've not been playing that well recently. But they haven't been getting battered either. And I think that they will turn up.
They will,
how much of a strong team they play, we've seen in previous seasons where it's, you know, the allegations been put against Steve Bruce that he hasn't taken the competition as seriously as some of the Newcastle fans would like. And this is an away game for them, obviously. So it'll be interesting to see how they approach this game. But I don't want to see too many changes, to be honest, to our team. No. Yes, I accept that some of the players like Saka, for example, got to have a rest. And B, some of the older players who haven't been getting a look in, this is their opportunity now to stake a claim, because obviously it's a squad game, so you want as many players to get an opportunity as possible, because, you know what I mean, it could be that you're overlooking somebody that might be, you know what I mean. That being said, though, you don't want to tinker with it too much, because as we said, the FA Cup in recent years has offered Arsenal some salvation, and I think it could be the same thing this season, because we're not going to win the league, are we? Let's be honest.
Well, I doubt it.
Unless something really seriously melodramatically happens, we're not going to win the league.
No, we are not winning the league.
In the automatic places for the Champions League either.
Great, no.
Some people are getting a bit carried away and saying we're only so many points off the top 4 spot following those 3 wins, which is like typical Arsenal fans. But I'm not reading too much into that one, certainly not at this stage. So the FA Cup, what I'm really trying to say is that one of those competitions, because we're obviously out the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup and the Europa League offers us some real chance of silverware that I don't think we should take lightly and not overlook, and we should go for it. And I'm sure the manager is. So I would like to see a strong team, but like we keep saying, some players need to be rested, others need to be given an opportunity. Now, you mentioned earlier about the goalkeeper, Renardsson. You're clearly not a fan, and with justification, given some of the performances he's had. But you know what? Sooner or later, we're going to have to play him again, aren't we?
I hope not.
We can't have Leno playing week in, week out. I mean, God forbid, the last thing we want to happen this week is for Leno to play, and then, you know, something untoward happens. He goes and challenges for a ball. He falls awkwardly. We've seen it with Mopé Brighton game last season. We don't want anything like that to happen. We don't want him to kicking the ball out and he does a hamstring or something like that. You know what I mean? So could Renardsson play this weekend? I mean, the manager can't just totally abandon it, can it? Surely not.
For me, Leno's got to play. He has to. Bro, if Renardsson plays, we could be out the FA Cup. That's genuinely how bad I think he is. Wow. I think Renardsson would struggle to get into AFTV FC's team. I'm telling you, bro. No, man, Arsenal, they need to buy a second choice goalkeeper in January, man. They've got.
Well, I was going to say that. I haven't seen any activity on the goalkeeper front. I've been looking. at the transfers. I've been watching the Transfer Daily. Big up to Robbie and all those guys. AFT putting those shows out. But I haven't seen any activity where, you know, we're looking for a goalkeeper. That would suggest that the manager, Mikel Arteta, is going to at least try and give Renarsson a chance to redeem himself, which, to be fair, he kind of has to, really, doesn't he?
Not really. Yeah, well, Laurie, do you know, I saw Matt Macy's going on loan to Hibernian, and he was obviously third choice. So I'm hoping, you know, Renarsson drops down to third choice and we go and sign someone to become second choice. But the gap's too big. When you think our number 2 goalkeeper was Emi Martinez last year, he's now been one of the top performing keepers in the league. He's in the Argentina squad. Now we've got Renarsson. That drop is too big. You know, Arteta, they're going to have to pull something out. I'm telling you, they're going to have to get a goalkeeper in. Because
that is a really good point you've just made there. You know what I mean? Because when you look at the fact that, I mean, because Emi Martinez played outstandingly well in this competition last year. He was one of the reasons why we ended up winning the cup.
He was.
And, him and Aubameyang were, you know what I mean, were two of the players that kind of were the spearhead of that FA Cup success. And then fast forward, we look now.
Renarsson, come on, man.
I mean, that is a serious deficiency right there. Yeah. With a pair, anyway.
Big time.
Can Renarsson improve, or is he just that bad?
I mean, he can improve. I don't know, man. He just doesn't seem to do much right. Like even the reports I read about him from the French league, like people over there were saying, like, I don't see why Arsenal signed him. He wasn't even first choice over there in a bang average team in the French league. He was second choice. He'd played very few games. He's not Iceland's number 1 goalkeeper. I mean, I don't know why they signed him, honestly. Apparently the goalkeeper coach had worked with him before, but I don't know. I do not know.
The goalkeeping coach's dad or something.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it was another Ralph Sanelli situation, man. Just, you know, I don't know. It's a strange one.
I'm one of those. I'm kind of trying to be optimistic. I'm thinking he can't be as bad as what we saw in that last game. It's must be a confidence issue, maybe a nerves thing. And sooner or later, we're going to have to put him back in the firing line because, you know, it is what it is. The problem is that the games are coming thick and fast. And there's no more, for example, preliminaries in the Europa League. Yeah, like
exactly.
And Mulder and teams like that to hide him against. I mean, when we go back into the competition in February, you know, we've got Benfica coming to town and they're not going to lay down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And cup competitions, we need to win. So, and a goalkeeper is very integral to that. So I am worried about it, I must admit, but I think the manager's got a bit of a problem because you can't hide him away forever. And I'm sure will be trying to demonstrate that, listen, man, this guy does have some talent. We just need to stick by him. It's just, you know what I mean? What do you do? Because, I mean, if you put him out there against Newcastle this weekend and we lose 1-0 and it's a goalkeeper's fault, he's going to get it, man. Arteta's going to get it.
Arteta will get it. So I don't think he can risk it. You know, if we were playing a championship team, a team where you would say more than likely we're definitely going to win, maybe you would get away with it. Newcastle, you know, although they've struggled, they've got attacking threats. They got Callum Wilson, Ryan Fraser, Almiron. You know, I think St. Maximum's out, but they've still got enough to trouble us. And, you know, having a goalkeeper like that, and they would target him as well because they would know that he's a weakness. So I just don't think he can afford to do it, you know, with the holders. And like you said, imagine if he cost us, you know, that game, you know, Arteta would be under massive pressure again.
Yep. I think as well as we've done with the 3 Premier League wins recently, I think that this game this weekend is a massive game.
Yeah,
it really is. And I don't want to, for 1 minute, underestimate that. And I'm sure the manager won't do either. I mean, to me, it's not just a game where is an opportunity to keep the winning run going. There's more to it than that. As I said before, I think that the FA Cup offers us some salvation. And it's a crucial trophy to win. It's the biggest domestic cup trophy. and you know, we need some success at Arsenal. You know, what I mean, we need to keep it up, man. And FA Cup, we've done well in the past, and it's, you know, Newcastle. It's not an easy draw, but it could have been a lot worse. Yeah. Try and take advantage of it. So
100%.
I'm going to bring it round full circle, bro.
Yeah.
What do you think will happen this weekend? Can we get a win? Will we get a win? What type of team will we play? Will it be a strong team? And how do you see it going?
I think he'll play a strong team. I think he'll make a few changes just to freshen it up a little bit with it being the cup competition. I think your Willians, Pepe's, David Luiz, you'll see them guys in.
They've got a lot to prove, isn't they? I mean, guys like Willian, man, his career's on the line.
Yeah, yeah. The fans are against him at the moment. He needs to get the fans back on side. You can only do that with good performances. So I think we'll win. I think we will win, depending, you know, what goalkeeper's in goal, man. It's literally goal. I think we beat him comfortably. If he's not, I'll go for 2-0. 2-0 to Arsenal. I think we'll keep a clean sheet if Leno's in.
What about if Rennerson plays?
Well, it could be a dodgy one.
He could well play.
He might play and play well. Maybe he'll shock me, man. But if he plays, I'll go 2-1.
Wow, it's interesting. Okay. Well, listen, I'm going to go for a win. But I am very curious to see I mean, with this manager, we don't really know how strong the team he'll play and how many changes he'll make. And I know he'll take it seriously. I do know that. He said as much recently in the last couple of days. But I'm still hoping that he plays as strong a team as possible. And then we, you know, get out of this third round and look forward, because like you said, you never know, the next draw we get could be a bit more favourable. We could play a so-called lesser team. Just put it like that. I don't want to sound overconfident or complacent. We could play a lesser team, and then he'll have a bit more scope in terms of the players in that particular round of the cup. So yeah, we got to get through. It's important to get through this round first, and for that reason, I want to see him play a strong team. Although I would like to see a few changes. I would like to see the likes of Pepe come in and one or two others. And yeah, man, let's go for it and get the win.
What's your score prediction?
I'll buy a couple of goals. I genuinely think that if we put the right team out there, Newcastle are not on great form. Although I have been quite impressed by Callum Wilson recently.
A decent player, yeah.
In the last couple of games, but he still looks sharp. And I think we've got to be careful that he doesn't catch us lacking, you know what I mean? So if he has a good day and we don't, then he's the kind of guy that could give us some real problems. But yeah, I'm holding out for a win by a couple of goals. Yeah. So we'll see how we go from there, man. But yeah, bro, we're coming to the end of the show, man. Is there anything else you want to add before we go?
Thank everyone for the support. Obviously, get well soon, yourself and Robbie and everyone just stay safe, man, and tune in next week. Keep supporting the show and come and subscribe to my channel as well, Curtis Shaw TV, and back next week. Yeah, man, big up Curtis Shaw from Curtis Shaw TV in the house for coming and giving us his forthright and expert views as usual. Thanks everybody out there for tapping in, man. Really appreciate it. Hope 2021 will prove to be a better year in many ways than 2020 was. Keep healthy, keep safe, keep COVID free. Keep supporting the channel, like, share, subscribe. And yeah, man, wishing you the best. Hope that Arsenal win this week, and see you all next week. It's Robbie here from AFTV. Don't forget to check out AFTV on Flick for all the latest transfer rumours, for all the information on Arsenal, for all the information on AFTV. You can check me there for Q&As on a regular basis. The link is in the description. It is free to download. Download it right now.